signs off real estate donations. The savvy solution for property owners who are bogged down with costly property taxes, maintenance fees, and insurance fees. Crystal Keys Real Estate will take over everything for you. Hurry now to lock in your 20.
See, like right now, you supposed to be behind the dude, trying to get a rebound now.
Inheritance or any kind of property. To donate, visit
That's right, he got it. He was playing the inside. You got to be playing like you on offense. Let me get the inside. Me on defense. So you can get that offensive rebound. Oh my God. Is it really that? It's not that easy to score on AI. Look at the AI guarding me. Look, 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 look. Look how my AI is guarding me and how that AI is guarding me. Glad he's kicking that dude ass or AI, whoever. But my AI is really guarding me. Bodying me up, chest to chest. Yeah, little boy. Stop it.
And when you've been injured, you need a heavy
Should marbleize, nigga.
And Morgan, we don't back down. We fight to get you every dollar you deserve. No curveballs, no strikeouts, just results. That's why we've recovered over $25 billion for our clients and fight for them from offices nationwide. Morgan.
Look at my AI. Look, 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 look. Look at my AI. Look, look, look. Chasing me down. Look. Is somebody controlling that shit right now? Look at it. Look. Why is it chasing me? Look, fast. I'm just showing you. I'm just showing you to the cook. Still can't guard me. I'm just showing you the difference. Nigga was chasing me down like I owed him. But he's still off ball pesting me right now, pushing me. Somebody's controlling that.
It's a new day and there's a new mayor of New York City. On January 1st, 34-year-old Zohran Mamdani will be Mayor Mamdani, beating out Andrew Cuomo and
beat you on the inside again.
held a news conference in Flushing Meadows, Corona Park, 12 hours after he won in front of the 12-foot-tall steel globe. I'm so proud.
Shoot it. Put back game. Ooh, good shot.
2 million New Yorkers cast their ballots. Were the more than a million who supported this campaign, or the others who supported someone else? Or whether they felt too disappointed by the political process to participate at all? I will work every day to honor the trust that I now hold. Mamdani, a Democrat socialist, was still pounding his chest when it came to his victory.
Double triple.
Republicans reacted to it. What scares Republicans across the country is the fact that we will actually deliver on this agenda. And the contrast is something that they cannot bear to witness. Many in politics will tell you Mamdani ran a great campaign. From his boundless energy, his smile, to his social media,
Come on, man.
New Yorkers excited
That
about
was
his campaign
bad
promises.
release.
What left me with such great hope last night were the stories from so many New Yorkers who had never voted before, who had lost hope in politics years ago. And to stand here before you, having received over 1 million votes in an election that saw a turnout the likes of which we haven't seen since 1969, it shows that politics once again is offering more. Mamdani said he's working for all voters, including those who didn't support him. What will unite them will be a commitment to solving old problems with new solutions. And he had a message for the people of New York. I will work every day to honor the trust that I now hold. The hard work of improving New Yorkers' lives starts now. Lisa G, 77 WABC News.
Man, that nigga a pussy. Your man 6'12". Shut up. Hit me. Fuck is you talking about?
A man who's gone through hell, but he's kept going and he's smart and he's strong and people love him. Not everybody, but people love him and respect him.
He's still talking to himself. That's for being said. That's how you know I hit a nerve. I love it.
Welcome back to the Roger Stone Show. Well, the Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky, is finally starting to feel the heat. After years as the golden boy of the globalists, Zelensky thought he could do no wrong. Thought he could embezzle money, snort cocaine, spend money on his other vices, enrich his cronies, send his people to the front line to be chopped up in a meat grinder, puff out his chest in these choreographed speeches like he's John Rambo for Eastern Europe. Steve, by the way, is an actor and a comedian. I'm convinced of being paid millions, tens of millions,
You know they
to
from
play the role of
Boston.
the president
Their clip
on
name is the
Thursday.
Fighting
Maybe
Irish.
it was Wednesday. I drove
Oh,
down to
that
Miami
nigga
Beach to
Bush is
look at the
good.
$3.8
Mm.
million beachfront condominium
Mr. Goodbar.
that the
You
former
see, I
president
wish you
owns.
was
So where the
rude. You
money
feel
came
me?
from,
Like,
I
what
think
is you
they
talking
for
about? All
that.
that shit you was saying.
Zelensky's
You
chief of
feel me?
staff,
You was just trying to
Andrei
win all
Yermak,
this shit.
resigned last
Did we
year
not
after
win?
anti-corruption
Did you not look at the
investigators
scores?
searched his
What
home to
Rick had? What
explore
I had? Shut the
presidential
fuck up,
losses. This may
nigga.
be part of
It ain't
the
no talking.
Anti-Corruption Bureau's
Shut your ass
investigation
up,
into a
bitch.
$100 million embezzlement scandal
I
in
love
the
how now my
Pentagon.
block is my highest
Hunter
stat. How he goes
Biden was
block, offensive rebound,
exonerated.
defensive rebound,
And
pass sack,
President
post
Timur
control, and
convicted
interior
Stanford
defense.
is on
That's
indigent
fire.
plea
Nothing
about
about
illegal
offense. So
money
you it's
initiated
like, wait,
$108
what does he
million
do?
heist was
That
revealed
nothing,
Saturday
nothing on my
morning
list
on
that
a
shows offense.
gold-plated toilet. He and Zelensky
My
go
highest
way
stat is
back as they
steel.
were partners in the entertainment industry for years before Zelensky was hired to play the part of the president. The two men remain very close. It's no longer plausible that Zelensky is unrelated to all of this corruption surrounding him. Without any shadow of a doubt, he's the kingpin of all of it, if you ask me. Even in
I
this
was just
position, Zelensky still drags his feet on agreeing to President Trump's peace deal, which is more than generous to the diminutive little fraudster. If Zelensky doesn't come to terms with an agreement soon, he's going to lose every dollar of aid from the United States. There'll be nothing left stopping his country from total defeat in the war against Russia. And then the people
Why
will come to
did it? Why
Zelensky's
did it
stand
send you
in reckoning.
backwards?
Please don't tell
Wide
me
no,
that
I
open
went
this is
paint.
backwards.
about democracy.
It was
Wide
too much
open
clutter.
paint.
As,
No, that shit was
as I
wide than a
pointed out,
bitch.
to
Go in the
continually
paint.
postpone and delay presidential elections, that's because
Everybody
he
was like
knows
at the free throw
that
line. You have
elections
to cut past
he
them.
will lose. There's something very, very dark afoot in America today. I see it unfolding. To me, it's like deja vu. I saw it in
Shit
1974.
was not cluttered. That shit was
Undoubtedly, there
cluttered at
was a
the free
visit
throw
coup
line,
taking
not
out
in the
Richard
paint.
Nixon. His big
Free throw
mistake
line is
was
not
to
the
use for
paint.
peace.
Paint where the three
He
is at.
ended the war in Vietnam. And he was talking, you can see this in his memoirs and in the diaries of his chief of staff, H.R. Bob Haldeman. He was going to completely reorganize the national security apparatus to limit the power of the deep state. Now you have what I think is a CIA-led coup by the seditious six,
Yeah, sent you right in
what
there.
they call
Yeah,
an
sent you right in
orange
there.
revolution.
Exactly what I wanted you to do.
America is in for very difficult times. I think they will mount
Good
a
rebound.
violent revolution to try to displace the duly elected president of the United States. After all, they tried to destroy him in
Damn,
the
good
phony
leg.
Russian collusion hoax. They tried to impeach him twice in two completely fraudulent impeachments. Then they tried to bankrupt him, keep him off the ballot, and lock him up. And none of those things worked. Well, they tried to shoot and kill him. But through the grace of God, he's come through it all.
Good
But
rebound.
whether it's Tux Jones or whether it's now Jesse Waters on Fox, people see something much larger is afoot. Groundwork is being laid through the seditious six.
Ah, that's my
Traitors
motherfucker.
like
Bro,
Senators Slotkin and Kelly,
you caught me with that
telling
spin.
the members of our armed services that they don't have to respect and obey orders from the commander-in-chief. Coming
Oh,
up
good
right
shot.
here in the Roger Stone Show, General Michael Flynn, the National Security Advisor under Donald Trump, one of the most broadest geopolitical thinkers and one of the greatest patriots it's ever been my privilege to know, joins us to lay out why he thinks America is heading towards a violent, color revolution. You're not going to want to miss this. Whatever you do, please don't touch the dial because we'll be right back. Every year, over 1 million older adults end up in the hospital from falls and injuries. And for decades, they've told us the solution is simple: more calcium and vitamin D. But those supplements don't help bone health like they say. And too much calcium can even create other problems. The good news is, there's a nutrient hiding in plain sight that helps rebuild bone density and stop bone loss. Blow your doctor away with your next DEXA scan results. Just go to getnativepath.com/O and get up to 45% off today.
Bro, why did he fuck
GETNATIVEPATH.com/O.
with
This
this?
holiday season, some children will wake up to quiet homes and nothing under the tree.
See what you
Since
think he said.
1947, the Marines and volunteers for Toys for Tots have delivered more than 700 million
Man,
toys,
I
bringing
shot
joy,
that late. No
dignity, and
cap.
hope to children in need
Get
across
there.
America. Your gift of a new new unwrapped toy or a donation online reminds every child they are seen, valued, and loved. Because every child deserves a little Christmas. Visit toysfortots.org
And
to
oh,
give today.
there we go. Oh my God, good lady.
Warner. That's crazy too. I was about to dunk it on him.
Good defense.
Just
Go.
knocked it out my hand.
Eric Comfort Shoes Black Friday sale. Enjoy up to 40% off online at ericshoes.com. In store or by phone order. Eric Comfort Shoes, home of the world's finest footwear. Free shipping and returns. Life is a journey. Wear comfortable shoes.
What are you doing, bro?
I own a lot of companies, but my favorite, WABC Radio. We have been certified by Nielsen to be the #1 talk station in the country. Advertising, if you advertise with WABC,
That stupid shit out of here, nigga.
why don't you email me?
Bus, nigga.
CATS@WABCRadio.com.
Everybody gotta learn to take that bus, bro.
Exactly. That's what crashing. That's what crashing does. That's what crashing do. I'm sitting at the 3-point line. Get that board. Get points. That's mine.
Today I'm filming with my friend.
Yeah, I told you that's mine.
And sitting across from me, Miss Dolores Catania. Hi, Jen. I'm
But
so
you
excited
see the
to finally
difference
be here.
y'all been
Big
seeing.
difference. Big difference.
Paranoia, people turn on you.
I knew he was gonna
friends
walk
who
away
never
from you,
stop
brother.
stabbing
I
you
played
back
point guard,
because you're
nigga.
always fighting for your spot. Well, it's a devil's playground, isn't it? It is. I don't want to call you a circus act. I'm a circus act. When I have to look at
I'm so
myself
mad, bro. I'm right there. You know, a little bit closer. That was it. It would have hooked it right to you.
Making you do these things. Absolutely. NBC isn't calling you and saying you have to do this.
Cook
It's
them.
what you choose to do because you drink the Kool-Aid of wanting to stay in the limelight.
I saw that too. Perfect tempo, everything.
Everything.
Oh, now you could. Now you could see my. Now that's good. He gonna make that. He gonna make that. To him.
No, you. That's why I kept going and then stopped the dribble.
No, I see what you was doing now.
Going and I already had pressed double thing and it went to the AI. That's why he threw the hot pass like that.
Well, you did the high pass. That's because you didn't tap it fast enough. Speed up your thumbs.
What the hell are you?
Yeah, that was what it registered was just.
He wasn't close enough.
No, but my point is, it still would have threw some dumb shit. You didn't throw a lob. You threw a regular pass. It didn't register lob. It registered lob pass, like that high pass you threw. You got to tap it quicker. Tap, tap, and then it would have just threw a lob to no one. Exactly. Get to that 3. Yeah, he's where I want him to be, right in the paint. Come on, D man, you gotta get there.
Yeah, that nigga ain't want none of that. See, he passed it up quick. Oh, that's that not even cross? That's the wrong cross.
Horrible incident in our backyard in Queens under investigation by the NYPD. Channel 4 quoting Councilman.
He do a lot of dribbling going nowhere, bro. This makes my defense better.
See the defense being played.
She shared these videos on her social media showing more than 50 cars gathering near 103.
Like he's looking for me.
I know that.
I felt it. Like I'm moving. I'm like, what is
taking mad long? Like, you know, if I'm looking for you, I'm already calling it like your bad. Like, I'm on it, not making you wait. And I make you wait. It's a mistake. Like, damn, I fucked up.
But the fact that I knew, that's why I made it. If I wasn't paying attention to him, I would have missed it. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And I kind of felt it. Like he felt like he was looking at me. Like,
oh shit, that's my fault. Damn.
yes, he missed.
Welcome back to
No, bad shot. Rebound.
Shot that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, almost 50-year career
Rushed it, 55% contested.
presidents,
What the fuck is
scores
wrong?
of U.S. senators, governors, members of Congress, and others.
Smoking?
But I have never known any finer patriotic American.
He made that, though.
Leader no fighter, geopolitical thinker,
I'm really
and
him.
no more brilliant military and geopolitical strategist than my good friend General Michael Flynn. Three-star General Mike Flynn.
Nope, he ain't doing nothing. It's all set up.
Years in the U.S. military.
Oh, they lucky. They lucky. That's my fault, bro. I was so like in the moment, bro. I'm sorry. That's my fault. I gotta concentrate, bro. I was so like, bro, no, you didn't.
45th President of the United States, Donald Trump. General Flynn and I were both persecuted in the same courtroom by the same people.
Nope.
We didn't actually meet each other until
I'm disrupting his whole
dates,
motion.
were over, our
Oh yeah.
trials were over, but I've become a very
Cooked
close
him.
friend of not only General Flynn and every member of his family. They are all, in their own right, outstanding patriots. And it is my great honor to enter him
That's just the perfect timing.
Two things I do want to say. His new book, Pardon of Innocence, is available.
Humbert.
It's terrific. You can get it by going to
I love it. I love it. This is how you know. This is how you know I'm nice with this kid. I love it.
Bro, I'm in here.
General Flynn, thank you so much for joining us today on the Roger Stone Show.
Yeah.
100%, Roger, and thank you so much for such a
Cause look, and you know what's crazy, bro? I ain't gonna lie, bro. The real reason I'm playing like this, bro, cause I know this was your last one before you gotta go to work.
Should have been a great Thanksgiving,
Man,
and it
listen,
turned out to be a real tragedy. I think for the country, you know, with the assassination
Give me the
and
axe.
murder of this wonderful.
Nah, trust me, you're gonna know officially.
West Virginia.
After this, I'm gonna read them. You're gonna see the rock. Like around.
Been talked about on the Sunday talk show circuit.
Like around.
We should be talking about
Sit
great
there.
things that President Trump is doing for the country, and yet we're talking about this tragedy. So.
What that say, bro?
We're in a different place, Roger.
What that say,
I know
bro?
that you feel that. Your audience feels that. That's why they.
How many points I got at the half, bro?
15 rebounds. That's crashing. Instead of having 2 rebounds that have, yeah, that's what it shows. You're trying to get something. That's what I'm saying. You don't just get 30 because you're too tall, nigga. You gotta go get it. Go get it. Stop getting stuck behind people. Go get it.
And getting updates from frankly all around the world.
Not giving it to you.
Give me
Anyway,
that.
I know you wanted to talk a little bit about some of the bigger strategic issues that are going on. I'll stop there.
Yeah, just before we leave this topic, I just find it very strange, based on my research, Ramanullah Lakanwal.
You know what? Next time you do that and I'm close, I'm gonna jump. Because I know how much steps you gotta do to do that. Bro, I was right there watching it. Like, I think he's doing the AI thing. I should have
Came to the United States in 2021. By law, he had 1 year to
Oh
apply for
yeah.
asylum.
Oh my
but
God.
he
You should have
didn't.
just went with
He
it.
didn't apply and get asylum until 2024.
3 seconds.
Now, how could that be? Unless, of course, he was still working for the Central Intelligence Agency, which is what I suspect. So, let's go to the big picture, and I'm going to let you take the floor. As I watched a terrific broadcast with our friend Alex Jones, and I reposted it because I think you hit it on the head. America is headed for some very dark event, in my opinion. A color revolution, as it were. They can't and will not accept the outcome of the last presidential election. They're determined to overturn it by any means necessary. And America's in very, very dangerous position today. General, you have the floor.
Yeah, so first of all, on this gentleman,
Yeah, bitch.
gentleman, I don't know why I call him that, but Lakanwal Ramanullah.
Then you have to drive.
On that specific person, I want your audience to know that this guy was part of an organization, part of a small,
Get that goofy shit out of here. He just caught that bus.
that were expertly trained on a range of capabilities. For example, many in that unit, and the units that were like them in Afghanistan that were trained by our CIA and continue to be monitored by the CIA. They're trained in our radio school, in our special forces, Green Beret tab training.
I got it right there.
Our airborne operations sniper school. I understand that this particular individual was also trained in enhanced interrogation techniques.
Let's go. That's being active. I
Very,
love
very
active
specialized
players.
training. So I don't want anybody to think that this character just went off the deep end, drove 3,000 miles from the state of Washington and just randomly went up to a soldier dressed in BDUs and shot her. In this case, this is a very intentional hit meant to be done the day before Thanksgiving. So we would be talking about that instead of Thanksgiving and football. So it's a very,
Oh, yeah,
very
it's going.
precisely timed. An individual
That's being
is
active.
somebody who was,
That's being
I would
active.
call him a sleeper cell
That's
type.
being active.
There are many more like him. What you just said about being over
Finish.
a year
Yes, that's
on
what
his,
happens.
extended
It
visa,
works for
whatever,
the team.
that these guys should be continuously monitored by the CIA, and if they're not continuously monitored by the CIA then has a responsibility to turn them over to the FBI. So there's a lot of what I would call line of duty investigational stuff that has to occur, activity that has to occur before I'm satisfied. As a guy that's done many line of duties on the death of a soldier, let's say, there's got to be a lot more answers here for what we're dealing with.
Yeah, he mad I could keep up.
Is this guy,
No matter all that herky
and my answer
jerky,
to
he literally
your
only be
audience is
cheating
he
to
is not.
get
This
me
is
off.
not a
He has
low-level
good dribbles, but
individual guy
I'm quick
that
with
just
my
did this
thumbs.
randomly. There are more than likely many more like him in our country. So that's
Give me that. I get
takes me
bored,
to the
boy.
next sort of bigger picture. This is what I talked about the other day, that I stated it that like this, that we're in the midst of a very serious and very dangerous color revolution. And a color revolution is something that has a whole series of characteristics, right? It's got physical components, and this action against this targeted action against this National Guardsman is one of those physical components. But other physical components could be
Okay.
the derailing of a train.
Take the pop.
It could be it could be cyber attacks, which are physical in nature, and we see those almost routinely to the point where we've just become immune to some of these. And many of these cyber attacks are huge. And for those that want to know a lot more about cyber attacks, they can go listen to Mike Benz. Mike Benz, on about a weekly basis, is briefing briefing the country on another cyber event that has occurred that is significant. I mean, to the point of where we're losing capabilities each time we get attacked, particularly by the Chinese Communist Party. So, and it's this whole narrative.
Get there.
In the past, what used to be psychological operations, and I mean very thorough psychological operations that we ran during World War II, and then they were more refined in the 1950s and 1960s. Our OSS used to be masters at psychological operations, and there's some of the people that designed some of our psyops during World War II against the Nazis and against Imperial Japan. But when we fast forward to today, that has gone away, and now we refer to these things as color revolutions, right? And the different color revolutions that we've seen in places like Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Poland, Yugoslavia, and other places out in the Asia Pacific theater like the Philippines. So we've had these revolutions that have occurred, and what they have similar characteristics. And some of those characteristics is rigged elections, right? Rigged elections is one of the big characteristics of any color revolution. When an entity gets in charge, like what happened in case of the United States government, one of the things that they do is they add layers of bureaucracy along with layers of non-governmental organizations. So that's a really important point, because when Donald J. Trump came into the presidency and he started to tear apart organizations like USAID, right? So USAID was an agency inside of the United States, the government, the executive branch of the government. And what did USAID do? What did we learn about USAID? So not only were they added to in terms of the scale of their bureaucracy, USAID then added a bunch of non-governmental organizations all over the world. And when we look back and deeply into USAID, not just under the Biden administration, but all the way back to really the 90s during the Clinton administration as well, so we start to see the growth of these non-governmental organizations, and they're placed in key locations around the world: Asia, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, Eastern Europe, the Southeast Asian countries. And you find these NGOs that are there, and they are getting funding through USAID, and you say, well, what's the funding for? And when you dig in, it's funding to overthrow, in many cases, overthrow those governments, or to certainly influence those governments, supposedly for what's in the best interest of the United States of America. But what we're learning and what people are now waking up to, and I think that's why the CIA was trending all day today on the world of social media, is because the CIA has been driving foreign policy, and I'm going to say that a little bit louder. The CIA has been driving foreign policy for many, many decades now. But what we now have learned through a whole bunch of releases of FOIA documents, evidence from the Mueller investigation, evidence from many other investigations that have taken place, that the CIA has been working hand in glove and in a very surreptitious way with, frankly, components of our FBI inside of the United States government, and they did it to undermine President Donald J. Trump's first administration. So, of course, he won in 2016, which was a shock to the world and a good thing for our country, thank God. But then they really went hard after him, and then what did they do next? Then they stole an election, the election of 2020. And more is going to come out about this stolen election. I know that President Trump has a plan to expose in a great way exactly what happened during 2020 and also 2024. So these are components about, when you talk about adding these layers of bureaucracy, adding these layers of non-governmental organizations that then, in many cases, come back and bite us in the rear end. Another big chunk of this is this to either start or extend wars or conflicts around the world, right? So, Ukraine, Trump's working really hard to stop, to come to some sort of long-term peace agreement here in Eastern Europe. But this Eastern European war between Russia and Ukraine, this is just an extension of efforts that are going on directed really against the United States of America. You say, well, how can that be that the war's over there? Well, the war is costing us, it has cost the United States of America not only global prestige, but it's also cost us over $500 billion with a B dollars in the last number of years. And we know with some of the recent current developments with Yermak, who's the chief of staff to Zelensky, having his place was raided the other day. What we know is, I know this, so I'm telling your audience personally right now, because in another part of my life, we have a civil case right now, whistleblower case that's been filed. It's a $42 billion whistleblower case, and we're trying to recover that money.
Stop and go. Herky jerky spin. Herky jerky behind the
U.S.
back.
taxpayers through USAID into non-governmental organizations over into Eastern Europe, and then much of that money found its way to different parts of Europe and also back here into the United States. So that part is really ugly, but that's an extension of how a color revolution is put into play. It's this continuation or this beginning a new conflict around the world. So we have these other, we can go back to Afghanistan, go back to Iraq, we can go back to many, many examples. Vietnam is another classic example of one that happened before we really started talking about color revolutions. We were talking about psychological operations or false flags, right? We use the term false flags. So those are other aspects. But another key component here of a color revolution is to drain or certainly rob the coffers of the U.S. Treasury. And that's what's been happening. So the left in our country, in some collusion with members of the right and
man, I ain't gotta say too much, man. 16, 21, 2-1 and then 4 loss. Yeah,
the conflicts, and they just continue to spend more and more dollars. But let's look at our U.S. Treasury as their U.S. Treasury, and what they want to do is they want to get more of that money out of our treasury, out of taxpayers, to put it in their own pockets.
That's what you created.
And they've been doing that for years to the tune of trillions of dollars.
Look at their rebounds. I have more rebounds than their whole team.
I have my doubts as to whether there were any prosecutions in the Russian collusion hoax that upended your life, my life of President Donald Trump and others. We'll talk about that when we get back. Wherever you folks don't go away, we'll be right back with General Michael Flynn right here on the Roger Stone Show. This is the Roger Stone Show.
Giving Tuesday offers a powerful opportunity for communities to come together and support causes that truly matter. This year, you can provide hope and healing by donating to Shriners Children's. For more than 100 years, they have helped over 1.5 million kids with complex medical conditions receive the most amazing care anywhere. Here is Sarah Jane sharing her story.
Almost immediately within the first appointment, they made an action plan and they diagnosed me with osteogenesis imperfecta. I've been treated with infusions, physical therapy, braces. I've had all my surgeries here. Emotionally, there are